Almost 3 years ago, I did a series of videos showing the construction of what I believed at the time, and still kind of do believe, is the best beta system on YouTube. But now when you go to our website, you don't see betas for sale anymore. What's the deal? Well, today's the day where the truth finally comes out. In late 2020, Lisa came to me and said, you know what? We need to sell betas on the website. She's very passionate about those fish, and she wanted to expand that and offer the best betas for sale to our customers. And I said, well, you know what? If we're going to do that, I know exactly where we're going to get these betas from, because I happen to know who was, in my opinion, the best distributor of betas in the entire world. I don't think anyone's quality could match this guy. And so when she brought that to me, I was like, well, this is a no-brainer. If that's what you want to do, I know exactly where we'll get them. I contacted that guy. He was ready to go. He was about 4 hours from us, so it was convenient. We could go down there, hand select our betas, which was great, bring them up and sell them to you. And I do believe, I'll say it again, they were the best betas on the planet. I really do think that the source that this guy had, which was from Vietnam, they were producing the best betas I've ever seen. And so this was a really good thing, because we were offering what I believed was the finest product out there, and we were offering them at a reasonable cost. We were paying significantly more for these fish than most people would pay for betas. In fact, when I would tell people that I know that are in the industry how much I paid for these betas, they would be like, dude, I can get them for like 79 cents a piece. Why are you paying that much? Which was like 10 times that amount. I was like, hey, I'd rather make less money, but bring a finer product, a better product to the customer. I'd rather do that and sleep really well at night than spend very little money, but charge top dollar and just basically rake my customers over the coals. I don't know. I sleep better at night. I feel better about what I'm doing, and I'm providing my customer with a better product. Yeah, I don't make as much money, but at least I'm doing the right thing. Please understand that throughout this entire video, whenever I say the words I or my, I really mean we or us. I am speaking for Lisa here. I know if she was to tell you this story, she would tell you the exact same thing. So anyway, back in 2020, there was a little thing that happened. You may remember, it affected every single human being on this planet. We were all locked down in our homes and looking for things to do at home. And well, during that time, the fish keeping industry actually benefited from it, because everybody was locked in their houses and they were looking for things to do. They started keeping aquariums and the industry exploded. I mean, nobody that I know or have ever met likes the fact that COVID happened. I think we would all take it back if we could. But if you were in the fish keeping industry, or if you were in the content creation industry, it actually worked out pretty well for your business, because everybody was in their homes, desperate for something to do in their homes that they could do by themselves. A lot of people came to fish keeping, and that actually is what takes our story in this dark turn. But let's not go there yet. As I said, we were buying betas from who I believed was the best supplier of betas on the planet. I had never seen the quality that this guy had. They were phenomenal. And the fact that we could go down there and hand select our fish, Lisa individually picked these fish. It was the perfect scenario. But when we moved here, which was in May of 2022, everything abruptly changed, just overnight. It just happened out of nowhere. We get a notification from that guy, and he said, hey, had to raise my prices, which at that time was completely understandable, because, you know, everything that happened because of that dreaded C word, prices went up everywhere because of shipping and all of that. It was understandable until he said he was tripling his prices. So we were already paying significantly more than pretty much anybody else would pay for betas except for other people that were buying from that guy. But it was worth it to us to do that because we were getting such a good product. We didn't have to worry about that product at all. But now he's basically hitting us up saying, I'm going to charge you what you're charging your customers. So we were going to have to triple our prices, which meant customers would be spending like $120 per fish. That's just absurd. They are the best quality fish out there. But is anybody going to pay that much for a beta? I don't think so. It's just ridiculous. So, of course, we made the decision that we were no longer going to buy from that guy. I mean, listen, if you were to hit me up and say, hey, we got to increase our prices by 25% because of everything that's going on, I'd have been like, you know, I kind of understand that. But to triple the price, like the balls on this guy, I've never heard of anybody doing anything like that. And there was no wiggle room. It was like, hey, listen, we're buying 400 betas a month from you and we're selling them like crazy. Don't you hate when people still do this? Like I'm talking on the phone. We're buying all these fish from you. We're not going to buy these anymore if you do this. I don't know what you're thinking, tripling the prices. I don't know in what world you think that's okay. If you're not going to work with us on this, we're going to bail. And he said, sorry, it is what it is. Gave really no justification other than it is what it is. So I said, all right, that's it. You're out. Again, we said that. As a matter of fact, it might have even been Lisa that said it first. Like, okay, no, we can't do that anymore. This guy was, in my opinion, taking full advantage of COVID and all of that went on around it. The industry kind of hit a little bit of a boom because of it. And he was like, well, now's our time to make our bag. And he decided to triple his prices just based on principle. I'm not going to stand for that. I don't care how good your product is. Neither I or Lisa were going to tolerate that. So we had to start looking elsewhere. And here's the interesting thing. We contacted so many farms. We talked to so many different transshippers. It would make your head spin. If you don't know what a transshipper is, it's basically a middleman. If you're going to import fish, you have to go through all of the customs and you have to have all of the permits and you have to have all of that nonsense. It takes forever to do it because governments suck. So if you work with a transshipper, they handle all of that and then they send you the fish. And that's basically what this guy that we were originally buying from was a transshipper. And we talked with so many of these guys and nobody else raised their prices. All of the other vendors from Thailand, from Indonesia, from Vietnam, all of these different, they didn't raise their prices at all. And if they did, we didn't even really see it. It was not even noticeable, but the other scumbag raised his prices by triple. I don't know why that happened, but we started reaching out to all of these other farms. We found some reputable, good farms, ordered some kind of tester fish from them. We would get them in, and some of them were good, some of them were bad. We found a couple that we liked, and we started dealing with them. We were paying less. We were charging less too. We were paying less for the fish. And so the beta business went on. It continued on. But this is one of the reasons why we would go through spells where there would be a month where there'd be no betas on the site at all. This was because we were trying to find a new supplier. And I mean, we just did what we had to do. So there would be times where we wouldn't have any fish for sale and people would want them so badly. Even to this day, we get emails almost every day, which is why I'm doing this video. People asking, where's the betas? How come I can't buy betas from you anymore? So there was such a high demand for them that we would have some. Lisa would put them up on the site. They would instantaneously sell. I mean, it was a good problem to have if you're a retailer, but bad for the customer and bad for Lisa because she couldn't get them up on the website fast enough. It was this constant cycle of put up 10 betas and by the end of the day, all 10 of them are sold. That's what you want, but you also don't. So we get to this place where Lisa is working. I swear that woman was working like 10, 12 hours a day in that room dealing with these fish. I know Doesn't make sense, right? I built this fancy system for her. Why would it take her so long? Well, it still required maintenance. And when you have a system that has 300 fish in it, it requires a lot of maintenance. The fish have to be fed. And all of the fish, when we were selling them on our website, they were all individually photoed. And she would take, like, I should have said photographed, right? But she would photograph, do we call them that anymore? Who cares? Every single fish from like 5 different angles. Each one would take her forever because fish are jerks and they don't want to sit there and pose nicely. They don't do that. So it would take forever for her to get these photos, get them all. She'd get 4 or 5 of each fish. Then she uploads them to the website, it was a long process. And so a lot of her time was spent with her phone like this, entering all of the stuff in, editing the photos, all of that stuff. It was a ridiculous process. When you add to that the amount of maintenance that had to be done, and this woman's life revolved around these fish. And if you would have asked her back then, she would have basically told you, my life revolves around taking pictures of bettas and then putting them up on the website, and 45 minutes later they sell. Again, if you're a retailer, you want to make sales, but it would never end because there'd be no bettas on the site. So she's out there at 11 o'clock at night. She's out there putting fish up. And then the next morning we would wake up and they're all sold. I mean, so she could never keep up. So it was always this burden on her to do this. And it just kept getting worse. Now you're wondering, well, John, you're a dummy. You wouldn't say that about Lisa. How dare you say that? But you say that about me. That's fine. Why are you so stupid? Why wouldn't you just hire somebody to do that? The answer is very simple. There was not enough money in the bettas that were being sold to justify a salary for an employee. And there might be people out there that would want to do that job, but I have a feeling that would be a job that we would be constantly cycling through new employees to do that, because it would make you crazy to be out there. I'm pointing to the room because it's right over there. Be out there for 8-9 hours a day, taking pictures of these fish, and they don't want to cooperate. And you just can't get the shot. It's still blurry. I don't know anybody that would want to do that job. And the amount that it would cost to pay somebody to do that job, it wasn't there. It just wasn't there. I'm sorry. It just wasn't. So when you break it all down and you look at it, this is what Lisa and I had to do. You have to look at the amount of time it takes for her to do that. All of the hoops that we have to jump through to get the fish. It used to be really easy because we just go to that guy. And a lot of times we would just hit him up and say, hey, we need 200. And we would trust that he would send us 200 good ones. And he would. It was easy with all of that. But now we got to jump through all these hoops to get these fish. We finally get them in. They all go in. Lisa has to take care of the fish. It's a whole thing. It's a whole process. Yes, the system was easy to maintain, but there was still a lot of work to be done. Then you add to that the pictures that needed to be taken and all of the customer service side of it, which is not a bad thing, but it had to be done. And then you also look at the shipping of it and the cost of shipping. Sometimes disasters would happen. The fish wouldn't make it to people because the post office, for whatever reason, would take 7 days to deliver it one state over. You never know what the Postal Service is thinking. UPS is too expensive. We can't go that route. Forget about FedEx. They're great, but wow. I mean, the cost would be astronomical. It just wouldn't work out. It was too much. And Lisa was probably losing years off of her life. The amount of stress that she was under to constantly get these fish up on the website. They would immediately sell. It would look like we never had any fish. The emails would be coming through constantly. How come you don't have any fish? Do you have this? Do you have that? She, like I said, was losing years off of her life. And at the end of the day, when you look at the amount of time that she was spending and the heartache and the headache that she was dealing with having to do all of this, and then basically not really making a whole lot of money. If we always had 300 bettas on the website for sale, we would have probably made good money. with the betas. But the fact that we did it the way we did, and we wouldn't have changed it any other way, it had to be each fish was individually photoed. Otherwise, I don't know. That's a whole other game that we just weren't willing to play. It just wasn't worth it in the end. And at the end of the day, when you own a business and you have to look at it and say, okay, here's what we're doing and here's what we're getting for that, you have to ask yourself, is it worth it? Or could Lisa take her time, all that time that she's spending on the betas, could she focus that time onto something else and maybe actually make more money, maybe do better than we are right now and forget about all of that? Does that seem more appealing? And for us at the time, the answer was, yeah. It didn't make sense for her to continue spending all of that time doing that to get very little for it. At the end of the day, we have to make money, right? I mean, that's what it's all about. I'm sorry, people don't like to hear that, but it's true. You got to pay the bills, and your work has to be fulfilling, and it has to be worth it. And the amount of work that she was putting into it for what we were getting out of it, it just didn't make sense. So we made the decision, we're just not going to deal with this anymore. And we got rid of the betas. Well, we didn't get rid of the fish. Once we sold them all, then it was over. No more selling betas. No more burden on Lisa's shoulders. Now, I will tell you, since we stopped selling betas, which was like a year ago, but yet we're still getting emails constantly asking us, what's the deal with the betas? How come I can't find them on your website? It's been a while since we stopped selling them. Our quality of life has improved dramatically. You have no idea. Yes, I said our. Mainly it was Lisa, but it also affected me because now that she's not spending 80 hours a week in that room taking care of those betas, we're together more. And that makes me happy. But not just that, she has been able to focus on other things, other aspects of the business. She helps out 2 days a week. She's the only one packing orders. That is a huge help for me because I can focus on doing things like this or editing videos or getting ready for live streams every Thursday night at 7 p.m. by the way. Whatever it is that I'm working on for YouTube, I have more time to commit to that. I have more time to look into other products that we might be able to carry on the website. I've been freed up so much because of what Lisa has taken over because she's no longer doing the betas. So it actually turned out to be a very positive thing for our business. It was positive for our bottom line. It was positive for our sanity. It's positive for our mental health and even our physical health because we feel better. We're being more productive. We're getting more done. And our business has grown substantially since we stopped selling betas. And I have to credit Lisa for a lot of that because she's been able to focus on all these other things that back when she was doing the betas, there just wasn't time for. So yes, if you've been on our site, if you've looked at it recently and you're wondering where are the betas, the reason why they're not on there is because, well, we're not selling betas anymore. The question is going to come out of you at some point. Are you going to go back? I don't think so. I don't think we're going to do that. And I'm certainly not going to make any claims as to what we are going to do, but I will tell you this. If we were going to sell fish again, which we are not, I don't think it would be betas. That guy really screwed us up with the betas. I don't even know if he's still in business. I don't want to talk about that guy anymore, but no, we probably wouldn't be selling betas. But you know what? There are so many very good retailers out there online. There's great mom and pop fish stores. There's a lot of people selling fish and they're doing a great job of it. We don't need to do that. Instead, we've decided to focus all of our business on plants, dry goods, and Lisa's snails. Now, here's the thing. I'm not doing an advertisement for the snails, but Lisa sells more snails than you could ever imagine. It's absolutely ridiculous how many snails you people order. It's insane every single week how many we're sending out. She puts a lot of her time into that now. She's crazy about snails. I don't know what it is with that woman, that she just gets obsessed over these things that not many other people are obsessed over. But I've set up a really nice room for her in our barn that is just, it's the snail room. It's all snails. We have a very big selection of plants now that I'm in charge of. I take care of all of those. She helps out too, but that's what we've focused our attention on now. And I think we're going to continue growing that and not even worry about fish. We'll let everybody else sell the fish. They're doing a great job. We don't need to interfere with that. So thank you for letting me go on this quite depressing trip down memory lane. I hope that makes sense why we're not selling betas anymore. I wish we could be, but it just didn't work out. Don't feel sorry for us. It turned out to be a really good thing. If we had continued selling betas, I don't think we would still be in the same place we are right now. I think we would, I don't know. I don't know where we would have been, but it probably would have been dark. And yes, it's true. The last thing I'll say is, yeah, people making fun of us for the way we say beta, that had a lot to do with us getting out of it too. It hurts my feelings. Bye.